This SOS video is about how word problems can be solved by using a system of linear equations. So we'll see some words used in our word problems, such as model. When we model, we represent something. So an equation can model a situation. A linear system, if you remember, it's two or more linear equations with the same variables. So in this lesson, we are going to use two linear equations in our system. So to solve a problem using a two linear equation, linear system, first step is we're going to identify the two unknown quantities. We'll use a different variable to represent each unknown. So we'll have two different variables. Next, we're going to translate the verbal sentences into two separate equations. Then we'll solve the system algebraically. We can use either substitution or elimination method. Then we'll check. Make sure your answer is reasonable and makes sense. And finally, write your answer in words. Remember, when we solve a two-equation linear system, we're going to require two different values. Don't just solve for one value and think that you've solved the system. Okay, our first problem involves a community service club that held a fundraiser. So we're told that Eliana sold 24 masks and 5 hand sanitizers for a total of $70.50. Meanwhile, Gianna sold 19 masks and 6 hand sanitizers and collected $65. We want to know how much would 2 masks and 1 hand sanitizer cost. So our two unknowns are the masks and the hand sanitizers. We already know how many we have. We don't know the cost of one. And we know that Eliana sold 5 hand sanitizers, but we don't know the cost of one. So I'm going to say that M equals the price of one mask. And to make it easier to remember what variable represents this, I'll say that H is going to represent the price of one hand sanitizer. All right, let's translate this information into two equations. Eliana sold 24 masks, so that's 24M. How many masks she sold times how much the price of one was, plus 5 hand sanitizers for a total of $70.50. Gianna sold 19 masks and 6 hand sanitizers for a total of $65. Okay, if I'm looking to solve the system algebraically and I want to use substitution method, I want to see if a variable is already isolated. It's not. Then I want to see maybe I have a variable with a coefficient of 1, and I don't. So I may be better off using the elimination method. The elimination method, we're going to line up the same variables. So I have the M's lined up, I have the H's lined up, and I have the constants lined up. And what I need to do is look for additive inverses, a zero pair. Since I don't see any, I need to create them. So I'm going to look at 5H and 6H and say, what's my least common multiple of this? 5 and 6 both go into 30. So to change 5H, I'm going to multiply by 6. So 6 times, well, before I do that, I realize that I have a plus and a plus. A zero pair requires that I have different signs. So what if I multiply this by -6? Remember, if I'm going to multiply any term in the equation by a number, I need to multiply every term in the equation by the same number so it stays balanced. So when I multiply every term here by -6, I get -144M minus 30H equals -423. Now remember, our least common multiple of this was 30, so 6 times 5 would give us 30. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 5. And I get 95m plus 30h equals 325. The whole reason why I did this is I wanted to create a zero pair to let me eliminate that variable. So now that I have that zero pair, I'm going to add these. I get negative 49m, that's a zero pair, equals negative 98. And to solve for m, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 49, and I get m equals 2. Now that I know that m equals 2, I can go back to any one of these original equations, substitute 2 in place of m, and then I'm able to solve for h. So let me use this equation, but remember, it's going to work for either equation we use. So I'm going to write this again, 19m plus 6h equals 65. In place of m, I'm going to put 2. Okay, 19 times 2 is 38. I'm going to subtract 38 from both sides. And I'm going to get 6h equals 27. When I divide both sides by 6, I get h equals 4.5. So I know that the costs of the masks, the price of one mask is $2. The price of one hand sanitizer, I can't say 4.5, that doesn't make sense when I'm talking money, so I put the 0 at the end for my 2 digits, and the price of one hand sanitizer is $4.50. Now the way I would check this is to substitute 2 in place of m, 4.5 in place of h, and make sure it works not only for this equation, but it would also make this equation true. So then I look, did I answer the question? And I did not, because I'm asking how much would 2 masks and 1 hand sanitizer cost. So 2 masks plus 1 hand sanitizer, well, 2 times 2 plus 4.5 times 1 is going to give me $8.50. So if I wanted to purchase 2 masks and 1 hand sanitizer, that would cost $8.50. Okay, let's look at the second problem. A sports academy has 2 plans for their winter training sessions. Plan A costs $375 to join and $30 per hour to train individually with the coach. Okay, $30 per hour. Whenever you see the word per or each or every, you know eventually I'm going to multiply by something else. Plan B charges $55 per hour. So Plan B, $55 per hour. So you're asked to write a system of equations representing the cost of the winter training session for each plan, W, for H hours. So I'm given W, and I'm being told that represents the cost. So up to the side here, I'm going to remind myself, W equals the cost of the plan. I'm also given another variable to use, H. I'll circle H, and I'll remind myself of what that equals. And H represents the number of hours. Now we need to write the system of equations. So Plan A costs an initial fee of $375 and $30 per hour. Well, if I know my hours is represented by H, this is 30 times H. So my Plan A, the total cost W, is 30 times H plus 375. Plan B had no initial fee, but its cost W was $55 per hour. Now we're asked to solve the system and explain the answer in context of the situation. So if you think about it, if we're solving the system, we want to know, when does the cost for Plan A equal the cost for Plan B. So I take a look at Plan A and I say, here's my total cost W, and that's equivalent to 30H plus 375. W has the same value as 30H plus 375. So when I see W in Plan B, I can replace it with this equivalent expression. So to solve the system, I replace the W here with the equivalent expression, 30H plus 375, and that equals 55H. And now we solve for this. I subtract 30H from both sides. 375 equals 25H. I divide both sides by 25, and I get the fact that H equals 15. But remember, when we solve the system, we need to get two answers, not just one. So I take the fact that H is 15, and I can substitute it into any one of these. So say I look at Plan A, W is 30 times 15 plus 375. Okay, pause the video and solve for W. Okay, and when you substituted the 15 in, you got the fact that W equals 825. So think about this. If this is the cost and this is the number of hours, what does that mean in context of the situation? Pause the video and think about what that means and write your answer down. Okay, and what did that mean? The cost for 15 hours of a training session for both plans is $825. When you are explaining an answer in context of the situation, you need to use the actual numbers that you got, explain what they mean, and the fact is that we set each of these equal to each other, so we're saying it would happen for both plans. No matter which plan you use, if you train for 15 hours, your total cost would be $825. But what if a person wants to train for at least 18 hours? Which plan would be less expensive? Justify your answer. So pause your video and try to figure out how are you going to determine which plan is less expensive. Okay, let's see how you did. If you were training for at least 18 hours, your H is 18, the number of hours. So I went back to my Plan B, that equation. In place of H, I substituted the 18, and I got the fact that the total cost would be $915. In Plan B, I went back to its equation. In place of H, we put 18, and that total cost is $990. So which plan is less expensive? We would say Plan A. Justify your answer. You could explain it in words, or you could simply say that 915 is less than 990. This has been another SOS video.